Do you think that it might disappoint some of his supporters, the idea that he seems to be kind of backing off?
You know, his supporters are very loyal. They're so frustrated. He's talked about a multitude of different things. They're glad anybody's even engaging in the discussion at this point in time. Because political hot-button issues, no one wants to engage in the discussion, you can never fix them. So at least there's a candidate now that's willing to engage in some of these discussions that for far too long have been something that no one wanted to touch. And so I think it doesn't do anything to hurt his group of supporters.
Yeah, but presidents don't suggest things. I mean, if Abraham Lincoln had suggested the emancipation and not actually gone forth, we would still have slavery. So I don't think president's suggesting. I think Donald Trump is in an awkward position because in the general election, which is different from the primary, we're going to bring up all of these so-called flip-flops on reproductive rights, on even one suggesting that he would support Hillary Clinton as president. Now, of course, he says something else. So
you're saying because he contributed to her in 2008?
Absolutely. So he would be, she would be the president.
Well, absolutely. This goes to the fact that there is no ideological core, no policy core. We see that on issue after issue. We have a self-promoting huckster as a Republican nominee. We see this, for example, when he talks about creating jobs in America, but in fact, he imports workers from overseas to be employees in his enterprise. There is no hardcore, and really, I mean, for folks to think that he's going to be a champion for workers, that's equivalent to asking the Koch brothers to be champions for solar power.
But Anna, is this kind of, I'll let you have the final word on this, but is this not reassuring to some in the Republican elite who want Mr. Trump to back away from some of these things said during the primaries? Is this not, in a way, potentially smart politics?
If anything we've learned from Donald Trump is that he can have one position one day, another position the next day. He can have one position 1 hour, another position another hour. I actually found this answer about things being a suggestion during the presidential campaign a refreshingly blunt and frank answer. We could fill up buildings and buildings in Washington with campaign promises that candidates have made during campaigns that when they become president, if and when they become president, really only turn out to be a suggestion. Here's the bottom line. Both of the major candidates, the possible nominees, have a slew of flip-flops. On Hillary Clinton's side, you could do trade, you could do TPP, you could do gay marriage. On Donald Trump's side, there's way too many for me to even get into, okay? There's way too many from last week to get into between Muslims and taxes and everything else. So you can take your choice, folks. Which of these two inconsistent candidates do you want to vote with? Which of these two candidates who don't believe in transparency do you want to vote for?
Who are you going to vote for, Anna?
The false equivalence that she just stated.
Let me just tell you,
has to be litigated.
I'm going to vote for Dwayne Wade. I think that's who I'm going to write in. Go Heat.
But you say the point you're making right now. You think that this is false equivalence?
Look, I think for Republicans who are dealing with a very unpopular nominee, their strategy is very clear to me, and I've watched it. Jake, I stood back for a whole week and just watched it. And what I see is basically a party that wants to throw everything, every bit of mud that you raised today with Sherrod Brown about the Clinton Global Initiatives. No money, zero change of hands, yet it was put in the Wall Street Journal with no sources, no fact, but it's salacious. And so you have to go ahead and muddy up the other candidate simply because you can't defend the presumptive nominee of the Republican Party.
The bottom line is both parties are dealing with the most unpopular nominee they've had in history.
I'm not going to contradict
you
the
know
polls.
I'm not going to.
Don't litigate.
There is a reason why we are in mid-May and there's still a Democratic primary going on because both candidates are incredibly flawed and unpopular.
We don't have one to take all.
No, you've got superdelegates, which are the epitome of Graham
He's a superdelegate. You're telling
so are you, baby. That's why I don't mess with them too much.
Look, I'm pointing at the person who's handsome.
Andre, I know you want to say something about this, but first I also want to play this tape. As you know, the Washington Post published some audio of Donald Trump on Friday. The Washington Post saying it's him posing as his own spokesman, quote-unquote John Miller. Now, yesterday, Sue Carswell, who is the former People magazine reporter on the tape, she told CNN that she did not provide those tapes to the Washington Post, and she believes that Donald Trump did. Take a listen.
I didn't release the tape. I believe he did.
Just to distract our attention from all the other things that have now been published about him.
Yes.
That's interesting.
Is that possible? Donald Trump released his own tape to change the subject from his tax returns or from whatever?
Think of how silly that is. Who wouldn't rather talk about their tax returns? Look, Anderson Cooper does a great impersonation of Donald Trump. The number of people that do Donald Trump impersonations is going to be huge.
Yeah.
You're going to continue to see it more and more. Clearly, that would be...
So you think it's an impersonator? You think it's somebody...
I don't know who it is, and my job's not to decipher that. And I think there's so much bigger issues to be engaged in that this is not going to be what we may get involved in, whether it's important. The average person out there that doesn't think their income's right, doesn't think the country's moving in the right direction, they're way more concerned about that than
Anna,
who this is.
who do you think is on the tape?
Look, since I don't partake of Trump Kool-Aid, I clearly think that is Donald Trump on the tape. And frankly, I think it's just one more dose of the, daily telenovela drama that we are getting out of this campaign on a daily basis. We get it doled out little doses by doses daily. Maybe he released it so that it doesn't come out in October. It's a lot better to deal with these things.
If so, that's smart.
In May than it is in October. What has surprised me is that he hasn't done what he's done with so many other things that have come out so far, which is basically shrug his shoulders and laugh it off and say, that was then, I'm a presidential candidate now.